anytime we're going against a great defense, they got good players, two great corners. I tell Gonzo every day I'm gonna test them. I'm not gonna not throw at them or CD. Two of the I think the best corners and one of the best duos in the league. What an opportunity for us to go out there every day and throw against those guys.
Test him, he did, and this is how it went. That boy Gonzo is nice. Look at this one hand. Give me that. I mean, this is silky smooth. Now, I ain't even mad at Drake May. You should test him. You should have that dog in you to want to test him. But Gonzo is just, that's who stood out to me here, Casey. Look at this one hand. Give me them cookies.
Oh, the cookie monster. I love that.
Come on.
Okay, but is it May testing Gonzo or is it Gonzo testing May?
No, I think it's May test. Listen.
This ain't the first time Gonzalez has gotten his hand and disrupted the piece for Drake May.
But also, when you're a shutdown corner, let's just call him what he is, because that's what he is.
Shut it down.
When you're a shutdown corner, if you throw at me at all, you're testing me. Like the ultimate compliment. Now, I get it's practice. You should. That's what I'm saying. Like Drake should.
Yeah.
But even in practice, you throwing at me, you're taking one hell of a chance, because that can happen, and it just happened. But the question is this, though, because Pro Football Focus put this out. I want to show you this. Mm-hmm. So they did all the top-ranked corners in the league, okay?
Yeah.
Not tandems per se, just individual. So, of course, we know the top five. Sauce Gardner, got it. Pat Surtain, got it.
Right.
Trent McDuffie with the Chiefs.
Yep.
Jalen Johnson with the Bears.
Duh.
Derek Stingley Jr. with the Texans. All absolute studs. We get it, right? Mm-hmm. Now, they had Gonzo at 13 and Carlton Davis at 18. So we can start there about, is this a little disrespectful to Christian Gonzalez to have him at 13 when he's clearly one of the best in the game? Mm-hmm. We can start there if you want. Carlton Davis, we'll see. Now you're a Patriot. You got paid. I am a fan of yours, but let's see you do it here before I start starting fights for you. I will fight for Gonzo at 13, though. But as it pertains to tandems in this league, I think you can make a case the Patriots have the best in the game with those two guys now.
I'm making the case, and I'll start a fight for Carlton Davis.
Oh!
Because 18 has to be in representation of the fact that Carlton Davis's health has not been up to par.
True.
That is the biggest bottom line there, because speaking as somebody who covered him closely with Tampa Bay, the raving reviews that came from every coaching member in Tampa was the versatility on Carlton Davis. When they needed to change things up, how the defense was approaching the shutdown, it was Carlton Davis who was one of the top leaders in making sure that happened. Carlton Davis, healthy, is dangerous. The versatility is one thing. The explosiveness is another thing. The fact that he can shut things down in a number of ways. He can help with the run stop opportunities, or he can be so disruptive when it comes to making sure that wide receivers don't have a path down the field. So healthy, yes, I will make a case for Carlton Davis all day long. Gonzalez, what I love about this and the tandem that you mentioned is that you're talking about a guy that reflects some of the strengths that Carlton Davis has had throughout his career when he found success. Both of these guys are versatile, whether it's zone coverage or man coverage. So when you've got two versatile, explosive guys where speedy is an asterisk next to both of their names, that is dangerous.
It is. And I also, too, you talking about Carlton Davis and the injury issues is maybe why he's so low on this list.
That's what I think.
You could probably make that case for Christian Gonzalez as well when you think about it. I mean, his first year, he dealt with injuries. Last season, he showed you, I can stay healthy.
Yeah.
And be a real player in this league. So maybe, in a sense, it's premature to have him higher on the list because of the sample size.
True.
Hey, we saw him deal with injuries. He's on and off the field. He's not really available.
Yeah.
And then he put it together. He was healthy. So let's see him, almost like a prove-it year. Let's see him stay healthy and do it again.
Right.
And then that will reflect with the props and the flowers he gets. And that could be in play here for Christian Gonzalez, too, if we're being fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure a number of fans across the board are tired of hearing me mention injuries, but they do play a key role into what we're going to see and how we can evaluate things.
Sure.
But to take it outside of the scope of injuries, because you mentioned something so crucial, time on the field.
Yeah.
This is why certain guys are sitting at that 1 through 5 slot, because it's impossible to get them off of the field.
Yeah.
I think something else that stands out with Gonzalez that's going to make this pair pretty impossible to go against is he is just so organized. He is so keen on learning, and his ability to learn and apply. When you've got a guy in his position, they can learn something or make a mistake and apply it and correct it, bring solution to it quicker rather than later, then that's something else that makes him worthy of climbing up on this chart as we see him on the field a lot more. So I was reading up on him a bit more in terms of like his approach to learning, plays. And of course, I'm curious because everything is changing for the Patriots. And I loved this take on the fact that he was so big on studying Stephon Gilmore and being so meticulous in terms of like what he did so well and how he can emulate that, but also make it his own. He's a bit silent, but his leadership shows up in his effort and his relentlessness on the field. And even his coaches from college, they kept his notebooks because of how he broke things down and the way that he used his mind and translated it into words. So when you have somebody whose football IQ is just constantly at work in tandem with a Carlton Davis who is known to be, equally as successful in the sense of everything I mentioned. Yeah. I think it's going to be important.
Okay, let's zoom out and have a big conversation. If these two are, we think, the best tandem, right? Here's how this defense can be special. Because you and I have covered a lot of NFL teams over the years, and we've seen bad defenses, we've seen defenses, and we've seen great ones. The great ones always, 10 out of 10 times, have a great tandem at corner. But at times, those tandems are greater than it seems because of a pass rush. So I look at this Patriots defense now, who has improved the pass rush over the offseason. We'll see if these guys can live up to the billing, right? That's some of this too. But on paper, they have improved their pass rush. So these two corners we're talking about are actually great.
Yeah.
So now if you compare that with a pass rush, this Patriots defense, in particular, as constructed, led by Mike Vrabel, who's a defensive mind himself, and was elite at what he did as a player on the defensive side, this unit case could be special.
I love that you paint that picture in terms of like what the pass rush does and how it trickles down effect, because realistically it changes the workload.
That's right.
So again, not to be annoying, but considering the fact that Carlton Davis was often paired off with Jamal Dean. Jamal Dean always had shoulder issues, so a lot of weight distribution went over Carlton Davis, which is why he had to work through a lot of injuries. But when the Bucs had that outstanding pass rush, when you had an Ndamukong Suh in the mix, before you brought in rookies off of the edge and Shaquille Barrett and so on and so forth, but then they were that last line of cleanup. And so you saw the wear and tear kind of happen a lot more when that pass rush was not as efficient. Now, when they were up to par, you just saw shutdown. You saw them be able to be on the field a lot more while offense was working through a lot of things. And considering new system, we don't know what the next step is going to be. You want a defense to where if it comes down to it and they have to be on the field too much, which no, we don't want to see, but if it happens, the trust factor is there. Their ability to keep the Patriots in the game is there. And the number of games that I think that are going to be quite close, it's going to be the defense that's going to make the difference here, not the offense.
Well, it better be, because offense is still under construction. Not that the defense can't improve. You can always make improvements to anything on your football team. But, it seems as though the defense is further along. And again, Vrabel being a defensive-minded head coach, in theory, you would think. This is what I thought with Gerard Mayo, so what the hell. But
no,
Gerard
I
Mayo,
trust Graves, especially because like one of the token words is aggression.
Exactly.
And, like, I talk about tight ends all the time, but like my first real love was like linebacker. It was John Lynch.
I love linebacker.
Yeah, it was just like they have a screw loose.
They do.
You couldn't wait to see how unhinged they were going to be in their pursuit.
Here's something else I've noticed is over the years, it seems as though most teams, they'll have a corner perform really well, and that next season they'll get the respect, sort of what I was saying with Gonzo, like where teams are like, all right, we're just not throwing to him, or not very often. And they start picking on the other guy on the other side. If that other guy has a big year, he leaves and he gets paid from some other team where basically he fleeces them because they get him and they're like, he's not a number one corner. This is the first time I've seen in my career where it's the opposite. Carlton Davis is a real baller. And he looked around the league and said, wait a minute, that Christian Gonzalez kid is there and I can get a bag? Like, he got both. Carlton Davis hit the lottery, quite literally, where he got paid and he also gets paired with another great corner. Does that make sense? It's not like he's living off of, okay, I played really well because this guy on the other side, now I can go get paid somewhere. No, he's a bona fide number one himself. Now he comes here And it should be special to watch.
No,
it should be.
I think what makes it even better is the fact that, like, he's coming in and he's not going to be, I just talked about weight distribution.
Yeah.
There's a number of times that he's been paired up with a guy out back, and it's come down to, if it's not the shutdown play from Carlton Davis, it's not happening.
That's right.
So he's kind of had to be both
He's had to be
strong
both.
for both. Exactly. So I think his excitement is now he can just thrive in what he does best, and he can trust that his counterpart is going to be equally as destructive
Sure.
and efficient, which makes that much more exciting on top of getting paid.
Well, listen, both of them have had injury issues.
Yeah.
So although you and I are definitively now saying this is the best tandem in the league, Christian Gonzalez, first year, 4 games, and then he, like I said, he put it together last season and stayed healthy. And we know Carlton Davis's injury history as well. So let's see a full season of you together and healthy. That will be the key.
Yeah.
Because if either one of them or both of them are in and out of this lineup case, you lose a lot of juice on the back end in that secondary. There's other good players there. I like Duggar. I like Peppers. They have some guys. It's especially a safety. But at corner, if you lose these two or one of them, you know, it's not going to be the same. So let's see if they can stay healthy together. That's going to be the key. If they stay healthy, the ability's there for both.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, the benefit here is the fact that both of them are equally as talented, one could argue. And
Yes.
I think it's just going to make it that much easier for them to focus on their job without being taxed out too early in the season.
Which one of those top 5 guys, individual, do you like the best? Sauce Gardner, Pat Surtain, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Johnson in Chicago, or Derek Stingley Jr.? I actually like Derek Stingley Jr.
See,
I liked him coming out of LSU, so I'm partial to him.
McDuffie pissed me off a lot.
Why?
Just because of like his timeliness of making certain plays happen against teams that
You
I
were
was
rooting against.
Yeah, like every time I'm rooting against the Chiefs, like then
He would
you've
pop
got
up.
yeah, and then you're just like, why is this pest still popping off? And I mean that with all due respect. That's what you want to be.
Facts.
But McDuffie pissed me off a lot in a number of situations. So I feel like I have to give him some credit. But I mean, how do you not just love Sauce Gardner? And then on top of it,
Yeah,
like
he's a man.
the mess that was the Jets this previous season, you didn't see a bunch of just like problematic behavior out of him. You didn't see a bunch of like hooting and hollering. Like when you can be destructive and humble,
Facts.
that's such a killer combination in just like life as well as like athletics. So I have a lot of respect for him, and considering just like what he's been through with that organization in a short period of time. It's just like
I think there's 2 teams in this division that are going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's the Jets and the Patriots. I think there's expectations for the Dolphins, and all they do is let you down because they're softer than baby poop. And the Bills, you know, I honestly, and we've probably said this in the past about them a bunch, but last season was like wide open for you. It was wide open, and they blew it. They still blew it. So I'm thinking the Patriots and the Jets here are going to sneak up on some people.